When you want to make a change, I always believe in making a radical shift. If you want to shift your beliefs, your thoughts, when is the last time you took a serious investment in your own self? Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Powerful Man Show. I am your host, Doug Holt, I'm by myself today, guys. Tim is off at the Alpha Reset. Yes, another Alpha Reset being done at Wales. So right now, as you're listening to this, if you're listening to this when it's released, there are going to be a group of men just like you going through a transformational experience. Tim and Arthur are both co-leading that, along with several men from the Brotherhood who have showed up as volunteers. But today, guys, I wanted to talk to you about growth and continuous growth. There's something that's been talked about, the can-I of growth, constant and never-ending improvement of actual personal and business growth. And the reason this is so relevant is I just got back from 9 days in Sedona, Arizona. And I was out there doing brainwave training with a company called BioCybernaut. And what I was doing was really focusing on taking my game to the next level. Now, I didn't have anything per se to work on for this or a desired outcome. Obviously, it's brainwave training, so I was hoping to get smarter, improve my brainwaves. But I was looking for something that I didn't know. So in other words, I was looking for a case of making myself better, even though I didn't have a specific outcome that I wanted. All too often, we can get stuck, right? We can get stuck. We can feel as if we're not moving forward. We can also have things going well or going okay, or sometimes even going great, but at the same time not growing exponentially. The one thing that people can't take away from you or from me is our growth, right? Our level of mental fortitude, our emotional strength, as well as our intelligence. That really can't be taken away from us. And as a man, as a modern man, as a powerful man, continuously growing gives us a new chance to have different optics. And what I mean by this is, I'll just share my experience. In going through this training, it was extremely intensive. But in going through this training, what it did was give me a new way of looking at things, a new way of looking at myself, a new way of relating to others, and a new way of relating to my family, right, and my business. So I came out of this experience with not only a better understanding of my brain waves, which, run everything that we do, frankly. It was absolutely fascinating, but I won't delve into those details. But the outcome that I got was a new way of looking at my business. I am now forever changed as a man. And with that being said, that gives me a new way of looking at my business a completely different direction. It's almost like having a new person step into my business and now is able to look at things in a different way. This is the same with my relationship with my wife, with my son, and my extended family. That changes everything. And it also changes the way that I look at myself, right? And isn't that what we all want? We need a pivot. 1 degree of separation or change can really make the difference between moving the needle and not, right? All too often, many of us feel as if our wheels are spinning, right? We're going hard, we're hustling, we're working our tail off, only to find out we're in the same place today that we were last year. Or for some of you, it's going to be a much worse place. Some of you, it's going to be better. But is it optimal? Is it as good as it could be? And if the answer is no, I'm going to pose the theory or the possibility to you that it's time to do something drastically different. Now, the program that I went to was $80,000. For some of you, that's nothing. For some of you, that's going to be just outrageous, right? But to me, it was the next step, right? It was the next change. When you want to make a change, I always believe in making a radical shift. If you want to shift your beliefs, your thoughts, the patterns that are occurring in your life, whether it be your feelings or your victim mentality, perhaps you're having a problem at home with your wife or work isn't going, make a radical shift. Don't just make a small little shift of, hey, I'm just going to get up earlier in the morning, or I'm just going to start going to the gym 3 times a week. No. Make a radical shift, one that's going to make monumental change in your life, not only for you, but also for your loved ones. Guys, isn't that why we're here? We're here really to take care of ourselves so we can take care of those that we care about and love. You would not be listening to this podcast and hearing my voice if that wasn't the case. We see this time and time again with men that both come through the program at the Powerful Man. And I use that because, that's the one we see the most, obviously. We're in it. These men that come through the program are making a radical shift. Don't get me wrong. The men that are at the Alpha Reset right now with Tim Matthews and Arthur are actually making a radical shift. Those guys have no idea what they're in store for. Yet, they've stepped to the line. They've graduated 8 weeks of intensive training, right, online, and now they're meeting face to face for the first time with these men that they've built bonds with that they never knew they could have, right? Bonds that you've probably only had since when you were a little kid and you had a best friend that you played with all the time. But these are deeper emotional connections these men are building, and thus it can be very scary, right? Very scary to show who you really are. To turn to a man in front of you and say, hey, this is me, the good, the bad, the ugly. Some of these men may have problems with alcohol and drinking too much. Some of them are, either have cheated on their spouse or have been cheated on by their spouse or loved one. And some of these guys are having problems in business. And to stare across another man or look at another man in the eyes and say, hey, this is me. This is what's really going on in my life. And I'm ready to make a monumental shift takes dramatic courage and strength. And this is why I want to talk about making constant change, right? Making constant improvement. Now, this constant improvement isn't designed to make you wrong. Right? Not at all. You are perfect just the way you are, guys. You're an amazing man. The fact that you're taking time out of your day to listen to a podcast that, with a conversation of personal and business improvement shows me that you're the 1%. And that's why this conversation is even more important for you. Right? It's even more important for you because this world only changes with men like you stepping to the line and doing what's best for you. Now, what you want to do here is pick a monumental shift in your life. Now, it could be in your health, your wealth, your body, your soul, your relationships, your business, whatever it is for you. You want to pick an area that you really want to make movement in, make a change. Now, you can hire the best consultants in the world, and you should hire the best consultants that you can afford, of course. But you can also make that monumental shift within yourself. Make yourself that consultant. Make yourself that person who changes rather than just getting outside advice. Now, I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot here because professionally, that's what I do. I consult with some of the most successful business leaders in the world. However, the best thing that they can do, one, is have a consultant, but two, is turn themselves into their own consultant. And the way you do that is investing in your own growth. When is the last time you took a serious investment in your own self, right? Now, that investment is going to be in time. It's going to be into capital, so money, but it's also going to be in risk, right? Those three areas. You want to check all three boxes. So going to BioCyber, not for me. I went to their highest level program, again, 80,000 US. It was a significant investment in time, right? It was 9 days I was away. I was actually away a little bit later because I stayed longer and visiting family and such. But it was 9 days of my time, full days, right? Morning, night, late nights, really working on myself. And there was also a significant investment in capital, right? $80,000. The third thing, it was a big risk. Here I was going in, and I was going through this training with some of the most influential people in the world. In fact, the head of Microsoft cybersecurity was there, an executive at the highest level. And we were exchanging information. We were talking about what really was going on in our lives. Not the fluff, how's the weather, how's business, the stuff that we say day to day or grabbing a beer with a buddy.
Hey, sorry to interrupt the show, but I wanted to ask you a question. Do you ever feel like something's just missing? Like there's something more out there and you just can't put your finger on it? I totally get it. Go over right now to thepowerfulman.com/freedom to discover the system that other businessmen just like you are using. We've included 10 case studies, 10 men just like you who have found the solution and have found their way on their path. And we want to share that with you. Go over to thepowerfulman.com/freedom right away. Now let's get back to the show.
But the real deal, like, hey, what's really going on? And I share this with you because this is the level that influential people play at. This is the level the best of the best play at. And they play at this level because they know the results are at the end. right? Change occurs outside of your comfort zone. And I was certainly outside of my comfort zone during this, right? This person was very smart, smarter than I am, and it was obvious at the time, and sharing very personal details of our lives together during this whole time period. And the risk to me was not only the opportunity cost, the capital cost of going and the time, but the risk what to me was really allowing myself to fail. I've never done brainwave training. I had no idea what to expect. Is it my alpha waves or is it my theta waves or delta waves? And what are they now and how can I improve them? Somebody who's always been lucky enough to be gifted athletically, putting myself out there is a risk at all times. Just like putting myself out there in this podcast by myself. You put yourself out for criticism. But at the same time, going through this training really allowed me over time, by taking those three risks, so to speak, or those three investments, allowed me to come out the other end a totally different man. Allowed me to come out with new optics, again, on my business, new optics on everything else I'm doing. And allowed me to be closer, not only to myself, but also to my loved ones. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do is write down where's the last time, or when is the last time that you took this significant investment in your lives. Now, if you're in the brotherhood, guys, good to see you, or good to hear you anyway. You guys have already done this, right? You've taken that investment. But for those of you that haven't and haven't had a chance to step to the line, as we say it in The Powerful Man, when's the last time that you've done that? Now, it could be in business, right? Maybe it's something you're taking a significant risk or investment. Let's just say that, in your time and your resources to better your business. And what about your relationships? We keep talking about relationships here on this podcast, and there's a lot of reasons. When we talk to men, we ask them, what's most important to you in your life? 9 times out of 10, the guys will say their relationships with their wife, their kids, their family, etc. However, they very rarely make a significant investment in that area, right? They're not risking themselves in that area. They're not coming clean. They're not showing who they really are to their loved ones because they're scared of rejection. At the same time, they're also not willing to spend money on quality coaching or take the time. It's one of those excuses. My guess is in your business, when you talk to prospects that you can help with whatever business you have, you're like, I know I can help you and just let me help you. Their ego kicks in, and their ego makes up an excuse most commonly about money. Hey, I don't have the money now. Or 2, I don't have the time. So this is the most common excuse. And we also hear it within The Powerful Man. So what I want you to do is write down, when is that last time that you put that ego aside and actually came up with a way to invest in yourself? And what did you do? Right? What was that significant investment that you did of, again, capital, money, again, time and risk to really put yourself out there? Now, if you've done it recently, let's just say the last 6 months, kudos to you. You're on the right path. And what I'd love to know, and please share it with me, is what did you do and what was the outcome? How was it, right? You should have come out the other side a better man. And that should have allowed you some very big shifts in your life. When I say very big, even 1% is a big shift when you think about it. In the course of a space shuttle going towards the moon, 1% off, they're gone. Or even a golf ball. If you swing a golf club and you hit the ball with 1 degree off, you're going to be in the trees, right? Or in the water fishing for your golf ball. And the same thing is with your life. So what are you doing? Now, if you haven't done anything in the last 6 months, I got to ask you why. Why aren't you investing in yourself? Why aren't you putting yourself out there? Why aren't you really striving to improve upon the aspects of your life that you want to improve upon? Look, guys, you deserve it. You deserve to have it all. You deserve to have the life that you've always wanted. And chances are there's just one shift. You're one shift away or one breakthrough away from getting there, from stepping to the line and actually taking action. Now, this could require some time, right? It's like working out. You don't go to the gym one time, as I always say, and get ripped and just stop going, right? You just don't. If you stop going to the gym, you lose it. So this is a constant and never-ending improvement. This is the journey we're on here, fellas. This is the journey of life. This is the journey to development. A plant, if you look at a plant, it's either growing or it's dying. There's no in between. A plant does not stay stable or stationary, and neither do you in your life. So if you're not progressing, odds are you're dying. You can't get back that time. You can't get back those resources that you want. So I'm here just to let you know, and I'm practicing what I preach here, as you can tell. But this is the time for you to really do a evaluation, do a course correction. If you're not getting all the results you want, I mean all of them, in your life, this is time to make an investment. Of course, it doesn't have to be with a powerful man, although I'm biased here, and that's obvious. I think this is the best program for men, period. If you haven't been through it, this is definitely the starting place for you. It's like building a firm foundation from which a rocket ship can be launched from. You definitely don't want to launch a rocket on sand because it'll just sink and crumble. So, at the Alpha Reset, the men that are going through right now, they're working on that foundation, and they will come out, I guarantee 100% of them, a completely different man than walked in that door, and all for the better. But don't take my word for it. Go over to thepowerfulman.com. There's a testimonial section where you can just see testimonials from some of the guys that have been through the program. There's some recent ones that are up there. We're always trying to get the most recent. We're a little behind on that, transparently. But go check those out and see if you can relate to anything that those guys are saying. You deserve to take the time to go look at those. Look at those during your lunch break, and just see if any of those guys relate to you or if you see any of yourself in them. Of course, remember, you're going to see the transformed version of these men, not the men that started the program or where they were in their lives, but you're going to see the authentic new version of these men that is lasting. It's everlasting, and it's really important. But if you don't do the powerful man, do something else. Whatever you do, I implore you to take radical action, and not radical action tomorrow, radical action today. You're only given one shot at this game we call life, guys. We're only given one chance. This is our time to do it. Now, going to the BioCybernaut Institute, the scheduling wasn't the best for me. It wasn't the best. I have lots going on. Of course, we have the Alpha Reset going on. Coming here, my wife is pregnant. I had a million excuses. I run multiple companies. Millions of excuses not to go, especially taking 9 days off and focusing on myself. However, I did it, and I'm a better man for it. And I want that same thing for you. So, gentlemen, what I'm going to ask you to do is write down, when is the last time you put a significant investment into yourself? Time, money, and risk. And I want you to write those down. Now, if it's been within the last 6 months, what I'd love for you to do is share that with me. What did you do, and what was the outcome? What was the change that you received? And I want to celebrate with you. I also secretly want to know what you did and how it was. I'm always looking for new things to grow. And if you haven't done anything in the last 6 months, what are you waiting for? You deserve this, guys. You deserve this. If anything that we talk about in this podcast rings true to you, one iota, it's time for you to step up, and make that investment in time, money, and risk, and put yourself on the line. It is time. You deserve it. You're man enough to do this. It's time to go. Gentlemen, that's all for me. I'm going to get back to wrestling with my son, who's just outside my door banging on it, and it's time to play. Have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you soon.